My name's Danny Burt, you can follow me on Instagram down there, and this is Most Amazing Top 10, the channel where we take all kinds of weird and wonderful things from all around the world and put them into a nice little top 10 list so you guys don't have to. And today, we've got the most famous dead people, part 2, and we're going to jump straight into this now with our number 10, which is Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain was born February 20th, 1967 in Aberdeen, Washington. He had a childhood passion for music and art but had troubled teenage years which saw a rift with his father and his first experimentation with drugs. He bounced between many different homes during his teen years and had a number of run-ins with the police, but found himself steady footing when he founded the band Nirvana. Their fuse of punk and metal started to make waves in the local music scene, and they were signed to a label in 1988. From there they released a number of albums, including 1991's Nevermind, which is championed as the defining album of a music revolution in the early 1990s. After many years of drug abuse, however, Kurt committed suicide in 1994, aged just 27 years old. But now we're moving on to our number 9, guys, and we've got Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong will forever be remembered as the first ever human to set foot on the moon on July the 20th, 1969. He was born in Wapakoneta, Ohio, and quickly developed a love for flying, obtaining his student flight certificate on his 16th birthday before he had even had a driver's license. At 17, Neil began studying aeronautical engineering at Purdue University. In 1958, he was selected for the US Air Force's space program, and from there he took part in increasingly important missions until the Apollo 11 mission that took him and his crew to the moon. Neil died after surgery complications in 2012. His famous line when he stepped foot on the moon was, "This is one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind," and with a line like that, he leapt straight into the history books. But now, guys, we're going to move on to our number 8, which is Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston was an American singer whose pop and R&B music career spanned from the mid-1980s to the early 1990s. She was born on August 9th, 1963 in Newark, New Jersey, and found her love of music as a soloist in a junior gospel choir. This instilled a love of music, and Whitney's vocal ability was finally discovered aged 19 when she sang in a nightclub and signed to a record company on the spot. Her self-titled debut album, Whitney Houston, was released in 1985, and Whitney was aged 22. From there, she became one of the most iconic figures of the 1980s, which culminated in her now immortalized cover of Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You. In 2012, after what looked like some heavy drug usage, Whitney sadly drowned in her own bathtub at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. But now we're at number 7, guys, and we've got possibly the most famous scientist of all time. It's Albert Einstein. Born as the first child of a Jewish family on March the 14th, 1879 in Germany, Albert Einstein had a fairly uneventful childhood that was marked only by him not speaking till a later age and struggling with school. However, upon reaching college, Albert excelled in his academic studies and went on to become a theoretical physicist. He gained fame within the scientific community for his general theory of relativity, which replaced major parts of scientific understanding about how our universe works. But within pop culture, Einstein is perhaps most famous for E equals mc squared, his mass to energy equivalence formula. He visited the US in 1933 during Hitler's rise to power, and being Jewish, he never returned, eventually becoming a US citizen in 1940. One little fact here for you guys is that when Einstein died in 1955, one of the people who was doing his autopsy actually removed Einstein's brain to preserve it for future generations in the hopes that we could figure out why he was so clever. Now though, guys, we're going to look at one of the biggest rock icons of all time. He founded the Beatles, and number 6 is John Lennon. John Winston Lennon was born in Liverpool, England on October 9th, 1940. He had a sporadic relationship with his mother, which led him to be mostly raised by his aunt Mimi. She bought him the first guitar he ever had, but it was his mother who taught him his first chords. From there, he founded a group called the Quarrymen, who played gigs all around Liverpool until at one show he met a young Paul McCartney. Paul joined the band, and with George and Ringo a few years later, they went on to become the Beatles, the biggest music act the world has ever known. After the group broke up in 1970, John mostly lived in New York until his death in 1980 when he was shot shot by a crazed fan outside the Dakota Hotel. Alright guys, punching our way into number 5 now, we've got legendary martial artist Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was born on November 27, 1940 in San Francisco, California. As a kid, he was a child actor in Hong Kong, and after getting into a number of vicious street fights with other children, his family decided to give him martial arts lessons to help him defend himself. Due to continued fights with increasingly dangerous people and his poor school record, his family moved him back to America at the age of 18. There, he began teaching martial arts and taking part in karate competitions until his acting career took off in a string of hit martial arts films such as the legendary Fists of Fury. Pretty cool stuff, but now there guys, we've got a woman who has just had a documentary released about her life. At number 4 is Amy Winehouse. Born in London, England on September the 14th, 1983, Amy Winehouse was an English singer and songwriter whose unique voice, style and whirlwind lifestyle captivated the world during the 2000s. She was born to 2 Jewish parents and picked up a love of jazz and blues music from a young age through her uncles being professional jazz musicians. In 2003, Amy released her debut album titled Frank with a mixture of jazz songs and covers. It went on to achieve platinum sales. Songs like Rehab, Love is a Losing Game and Valerie catapulted her to international fame, but aged just 27 and struggling with a number of different personal issues, Amy died from accidental alcohol poisoning on July the 23rd, 2011. Very tragic stuff, but now we're going to move on to our number 3, and it's the one-man tech giant who founded Apple. It's Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs was born in San Francisco on February 24, 1955 and put up for adoption right away. Through his father, he developed a passion for electronics from a young age and befriended many engineers in the area. He was unruly at school and often struggled against authority figures, a trait that stayed with him for life. Age 13, he got a summer job at Hewlett-Packard on the assembly line. Far from seeing this as mundane work, Steve said he was in heaven. During college, he remained a wanderer and upon graduation pursued a number of different career options before finally starting the Apple Computer Company with Steve Wozniak in 1976. The company's products such as the iPod, iPhone and iPad went on to become synonymous with the modern world we live in. Steve passed away in 2011, aged 56, after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Alright guys, we're at number 2 now, and it's a person who proves you don't always have to do good or great things to become famous. Sometimes doing horrible things will get you there all the same. It's Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was the leader of the Nazi Party in Germany during the Second World War, and as leader, he oversaw the Holocaust that killed 6 million Jewish people. He was born on April 20th, 1889 in a town in Austria-Hungary. His family moved to Germany when he was 3, and his school years were marked by a refusal to conform to strict disciplines from either his teachers or his father. After serving as a soldier in World War I, his bitter resentment at Germany's loss pushed him into politics, where he founded the Nazi Party. He seized increasing political power during the Great Depression and eventually made himself dictator of the country before bringing Germany, Europe and the world into World War II. As Germany lost the war and the Allied forces closed in on him, he shot himself in his bunker. So we've looked at a man who walked on the moon and women who changed music forever, but at number 1, we've got someone who died just less than a month ago but will be remembered for a long time to come. It's David Bowie. David Bowie was born David Robert Jones on the 8th of January 1947. He was a central figure in pop and rock music for 5 decades, during which time his performance alter egos such as Ziggy Stardust have become almost as famous as him. He was born in South London, England. During his early years, acts like Little Richard and Elvis Presley left a huge impact on him and inspired him to take up the ukulele. Bowie played in skiffle bands throughout his school years and went on to study art, music and design. It was during these years that his friend punched him in the face and gave him his now famous permanently dilated pupil. He bounced between bands during the 1960s before striking gold in 1969 as a solo artist with his first hit, Space Oddity. And the rest, guys, as they say, is history. He went on to have an astonishingly successful career and he's inspired millions of artists all around the world. If you guys haven't checked him out yet, I sincerely hope you do. But that's all we got time for, guys, in this episode of Most Amazing Top 10. If you enjoyed this, we're doing these kind of videos every single day. So hit that subscribe button if you want to stay up to date with all the great content we have. 2 videos over there floating right now if you want to give them a click. In the meantime, thanks for watching Most Amazing Top 10, guys. My name's Danny Burt. You can follow me on Instagram down there, and I'll see you very soon.